My children were very young.
And
Thank
you
you.
did it anyway.
I did it anyway.
You
I have,
managed anyway.
right. I have another story, quick. So I was program chair. You have to know that until about 1978, 77, I didn't speak in public. Now you can't shut me up. But I became program chair, and my two things, I was so nervous when I would get up, and this was at Fairfax High School. And now I'm drawing a blank, from Ireland. No, remind me who he is. Anyway, I'm introducing him, and I call him an Englishman by mistake.
Uh-oh.
Is this Dennis Brown?
Dennis Brown, right, Dennis Brown. But he was
Yeah.
very good about it. And then the other time, so Donald Jackson was going to speak in Los Angeles in the 1980s. And I was helping arrange this speaking. I think it was with Chuck maybe. And it was at USC. And I had just gotten this part-time job. And of course, we didn't have cell phones then. So the day of, Ken Jackson keeps calling me at work, you know, because there's these little glitches, and I got fired from that job because of my trying to have that meeting, but that was okay. I went on to figure better things, but the society has given me so much. I really appreciate it. So that's it.
It's so
That's
nice
excellent.
to hear.
Thanks.
It's so nice to hear from you and to receive your comments. It's a real pleasure to see you looking so well. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Good to see you too. Yes.
That's great. And thank you, Evelyn. See, the joy just keeps spreading, doesn't it? Nancy, there's a question about, is there a retrospective of David's work or something when the book is launched? Have you thought
Well,
of that?
yes, I have thought of that. I sent a lot of work over to the crafts center here in England, but there should be something that goes to the United States. That would be really nice. I think
Yes.
I need some help with getting connections and names and addresses and things of this sort, because it takes quite a bit of time to set up an exhibition.
Absolutely.
And
And
a lot of things.
and you know, so Kitty does a lot of stuff, and there's the San Francisco Center for the Book, and they have exhibits there
Yes.
also. So yeah, we'll get some ideas. Do you have any idea about the book? I mean, book launches are trying to pin down a date, but do you have any goals for a date or anything?
Well, I decided that by the end of this year, I'd like to have the bulk of it written and the graphics sorted out. Oh, we spent quite a bit of time photographing it and documenting it, measuring everything up. And then, you know, like he's got a lot of old slides, the 35mm slides.
Yes.
We have to convert that all into digital. So that we're trying to catch up with the technology before it changes again.
Yeah, really.
So,
Yeah.
so we're kind of running a race right now. So I'm not sure. Let me give you my email orally, because I had an eye operation procedure about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Yes, yes.
So
yes, please do.
N as in November, Y as in Yankee, O as in Oscar, H as in hotel, O as in Oscar, W as in whiskey, E as in echo, Lima, S as in Sierra, at.
Wait a minute. I got lost after the E. You said El Lima.
Okay. L as in Lima, L as in Lima, S as in sugar.
Okay.
And Nancy, I can
gmail.com. Okay, that would be great.
Okay.
I'll mail it to.
And Christy will put it in the chat.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Well, I think I'm going to go too, because I'd like to get some dinner tonight. And
I don't know why.
It was so I picked it up. I was just transfixed on the screen and all the people, and wonderful memories kept flooding into me this evening. So you've made my day. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. There's lots of food here for everybody, isn't there? And you're part of that, Nancy.
Thank you very much.
Part of it.
It's so nice
Thank you
to
so
come back
much.
to LA. There's so many friends and students and wonderful memories there. It
Absolutely.
Really so
and
take
lots
care
of heart for you.
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you
Bye.
very much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Nancy,
Thank
Bye-bye.
you,
Thanks,
dear.
Nancy.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
Christy
Thanks,
has a,
Chris. Okay, quick question. Christy? You have a question, Christy?
It was not me.
Oh,
oh, I'm sorry.
I do. Nancy,
Okay.
yes, who's
this is
this?
Carrie.
Oh, Carrie, where are you?
I'm right. I'm here.
I
I
got the chat
see
in front of
you.
you.
Nancy, I was wondering when you might be visiting the US again.
Well, that depends a lot on the transportation services and the diseases and all of this. I think the
Yes.
difficulty is I just don't know what's going to happen.
Well,
I
we'd
was
love to
planning-
host you.
Well, I
Deanne
was
and I
planning-
would love to host you again when you
Thank
come.
you. Well, I was planning to come to a wedding. My cousin was getting married in May. She canceled, postponed it till September. She canceled it, postponed it till November. And hopefully she can have it tomorrow. But
Well,
they just had a
Nan-
snowstorm.
I have wonderful memories of you. You were one of my first teachers, and I remember being in class and sitting and writing, and you would walk behind us and grab our pens because we were supposed to be holding them lightly,
I know that trick.
and our arms would fly up in the air with our pen.
Oh dear.
So
I'm sorry for being such a ruffian.
you taught me discipline, and that was good.
Well, thank you so much, Gary. It's delightful to see you. It's
You
really
too.
marvelous. Take care, everybody. I'm going to sign
Thank
off
you,
now.
Nancy. I will send
Bye-bye.
you the notes from the chat.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, everybody, for all your contributions, not only today, but for many, many years and many connections that we made over those years. It's been wonderful. Nice to meet you, Christy. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Janet.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Barbara Wample, thank you, Nancy. Go have some food. I know Donald's hanging in for that too. Nancy, I'm sorry, Barbara, you're gonna unmute and you want to show your medallions from the retreat.
I didn't bring, there are more out in my studio. I didn't bring, oops, am I muted? I can't tell.
You're
Oh, yeah.
fine.
Okay.
No, you're fine.
When Kitty mentioned that she had made medallions at that first retreat, I didn't realize who made them. And I thought, because I coordinated the retreat for 8 years, it's one of the things that I loved about the first ones that I went to. And we continued that on through those 8 years from the 86 to 94, whatever that was. And I just thought, one of the things about it, and this is I'll put it up close. This is the medallion.
Okay, hold
I'm
it still
assuming-
now. Yes.
Can you see them? And then on the
Yes.
back, it says La Casa de Maria, 1975 in this case. But I had no idea that she was the person who made them. And one of the things that I think is really important about these is the symbol on there matters. The symbol on there from Rudo Koch is for friendship. And it really strikes me as one of the things that at the base of what carries us through is this idea of cherishing friendship. So anyway, I really love this symbol that's on these. That's all
Yes,
I
thank you. And I have a lot of those myself. Yes, through the years, and they're just wonderful. So I'm just looking in the chat and seeing what else. But so many thank yous from so many people, and I will also cherish having the recording from this when that's possible. But please understand that it will take a while, and being a volunteer organization, etc. But it will eventually, there will be a link on our website eventually, and it will link to our private YouTube channel. So, but just keep your eye out for it. And I'm hoping that that possibly those who are here can be sent a special email to let them know that, in fact, that's happening. So, and
Can we have
yes.
Donald say something before we close the meeting? He's still on.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hi, I don't think I need unmuting. I'm unmuted.
You're fine.
Thank you. Actually, I was thinking Mabel would love one of these things where she could just mute, put me into mute, shut me up. Actually, this has been so interesting tonight, today, or this moment, wherever this moment is, shows you how stretchy time is. And I just now seen the TV in the other room where Mabel's watching it. She was watching the football just now, earlier when Wales was playing Scotland. So she was going to be joining me to begin with, but I'm sorry you lost out to the football game.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Especially when Wales was playing, that was the key. Yeah, just a last word or two. This is good. I can see this being something I could enjoy. I mean, come to think of the talking bit, a friend of mine painted a portrait of me. I know that sounds a bit silly, but he was practicing. He was a good painter, but he hadn't painted portraits, and he got me to sit still long enough, and it just didn't look like me. I would say it just didn't look like me. I mean, I don't think I look like me either, but never mind. A good artist friend of ours sat there and just looked at this, and she was there for 10 minutes looking at this painting. And I was saying, I know it doesn't look like me. And so she said, no, it doesn't. But she said, I just finally figured out why it doesn't look like you. And I said, why? She said, your mouth's shut. Right?
Your mouth is shut.
I'm telling it to you, you're not talking. But you asked a question about how calligraphy was in England, and it's very difficult for anyone to know. And I only mention it because it's got to be the same challenge. A lot of the calligraphers that you've mentioned, the visitors from Europe, and also the ones in Chicago, your indigenous ones in New York, and so on, that were there, that now died off, your amazing Arnold Banks and your Maureen Emoys, and they belong to a particular group where they had a training. They could get a training. I was very fortunate. I went to art school when I was 13 years old, and I was 6 years in art college before I went to London. And I was learning about calligraphy and so on. And I knew more than my teachers because it was a minority subject and always has. And it's never been easy, either in the UK or in the US, to persuade, because there aren't the numbers to constitute, a department, anywhere in university. I mean, look, everything I say, I can think of contradictions to what I'm saying. But generally speaking, where does the knowledge come from? And it has to be passed on like that. It has to be passed on like that, at that connection. Tonight, I can see how easily that could be done. I mean, I've got grandchildren and they're on this kind of thing all the time. So I should know better, but this shows me that with like-minded people, you can share very effectively on this medium. And, we all get better at it. We've got to learn, those of us who don't know. But that is a problem. It's a problem in the UK is there is only one college course offered in the UK up to a level that we aspire to, and or that can help you to aspire to. And that was, you and Clayton had a lot to do with that course, but that's no longer, there's not enough people doing it. We know it's not a good way to make a living. It's not a career choice usually. And that generally is very much in the mind of people when they're investing a lot of their time in it. So it isn't easy. It is not easy. And the degree level commitment to the subject, and the graphics as well, in the UK is not that good. Graphics, yes, things you can do on computer, and also some manual stuff. So it's still pretty much help yourself, and doing this to, And that is where the future lies. And let's face it, this pandemic, which is obviously much seemingly more viewed more seriously here, is showing us ways which we can utilize this, being forced into this way of talking to each other, which we have to do nowadays more. It can be made to be a great thing, you know, for the future of a society like ours. And I'm very proud of being a member of it. And I love getting the magazines, and I know so many people whose names have not been mentioned, and I haven't. And to everybody, you know, some people say, you know, you changed my life by doing this. You changed mine. So that I'm going to say thank you to everybody and leave you with that and carry on
Well,
helping.
Donald,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, it's Donald. I know you want to go get dinner. Somebody's asking though, can you talk a little bit about your experience with Irene Wellington? Can we coax you just a little bit longer?
Well, unless you want to organize a little session, you know, at another time, I could always go into great depths with that, and I'm sure Anne Heckle would be happy to join in with that. If that could be organized, that could be a thought for you. You might have get some of these old guys to talk before they, not old guys, they passed on. So while we can still pass on information, then let's do it. But just right now, the Irene Wellington thing was, she was like me. She went to art college when she was quite young. She had quite a good general art education, a lot of drawing, anatomy, old school copying, you know, sculptures and casts from Rome and that kind of thing, as I did actually. I didn't care for it much. I wasn't very good at it either. She was. She was a farmer's daughter, and a prosperous farmer's daughter who, you know, loved to draw horses on the farm and that kind of thing. And so she was steeped in that arts and crafts thing, which, you know, started really, I suppose the big names are, you know, William Morris and all the things that came out of that, you know, and the Central School of Arts and Crafts was where Edward Johnston taught, and she was a student of his, and then she eventually went to become a student of his in the Royal College of Art, which is a graduate school basically, where and Rhys went to that school many years afterwards. He was the only person doing calligraphy there because they thought they'd experiment and see what would happen if they got an odd person who does this kind of thing. And, you know, it was very tough for him. But she taught 30 kids. The only reason they had a class was 30 people, and you had to wait from one week to the next. And it was like getting crumbs that fell from, you know, the bird table. And yet she had that. I was too young to understand even though I'd graduated already. It was a postgraduate course for me. I was still only 19 when I started, and 20 by the time I finished 1 year with her. So it's a very difficult, it's a big question, in other words, and I don't want to go into it too deeply because it's not the right time. We can do it another time.
We'll do it another time. And Donald, I so much appreciate you hanging out.
This could lead to things like that, you know, fireside chats.
We have suggestions. Donald, thank you so much for staying. I know that you are approaching 10 o'clock at night for you.
No, it's 9 actually, but
9. Oh, I'm sorry, I added one too many.
Civilized. Okay. There's still time for a gin and tonic. So
okay, very good.
So I'm going to say that. And
thank you so much, Donald.
Online, and let's do it again.
Yes, let's do it again. We'll do. Yeah, everybody's saying yes.
Thanks
and saying goodbye to you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Donald. So much appreciate that. I'm going to encourage everybody that if you want to save the notes from the chat, this might be a good time to have your chat open. Go down to the bottom where there's 3 dots, click on that, and at the top it says save the chat. And so you can do that for yourselves and have at least a copy of the chat for the moment. And that has Nancy's email in it and things like that. So if you want to do that, I'm going to do it too, so that you have the chat saved. It'll save it to your desktop. So that's so great. Isn't this wonderful? I mean, could we go on for another 8 hours? Yes, I think so. So, all right.
Thank you.
Sheila's there right on my screen. How are you doing, Sheila? Sheila Waters, you're I think you're muted,
Yeah.
honey. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me
There you go.
now?
I
Right.
certainly can.
Oh, so much of what Donald said reminded me of my beginnings, because I had 6 years of art school, and Dorothy Marney, who was a student of Edward Johnston, and of course I met Irene Wellington many times, and she came into the college to see us. So, you know, I had that same kind of background. He's 9 years old, sorry, so I'm not that much older than him. But he's amazing for over 80, isn't he?
Yes, you were also lucky. And we were lucky to have you, you know. You've been so important.
I can't really, sorry, I can't really do calligraphy anymore because I've got macular degeneration, and I really can't see to write properly. But my hands are still very steady. That's not the problem. But I can still see.
Yeah.
But I teach the poem with Julian with master classes, so it's great having Julian and Kathy living with me now. I don't know how many otherwise. I mean, in a month I'll be 2, so years go by. But I remember so many of the people that I've seen today. It's been great seeing everyone again. Right, so.
And you're part of our great history.
Remember Nancy. Nancy was the one who got me on the road. 1979, teaching for her in Santa Monica. And, you know, the rest is history from then on. It's great. I've always been very honored to belong to your society, especially when you make me a member as well. So I think Donald and I may be still alive.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last.
What was that?
Just repeat yourself.
I think Donald and I are the only 2 honorary members still alive, right?
Oh.
If you look at
I don't know. So glad you're both around.
Well, me too. Yeah.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you so much. You're so much a part of our rich history. So glad that Julian is carrying on as well. I'm going back to the gallery view now. And I know none of us want this to end. I know it has to end at some point. So does anyone want to raise their hand to ask a question? Or I see we have 66 people still in the room. Does anybody else want to ask a question? Or we could just, Chris, you are on mute. So, okay. And so you can ask a question, or you can put something in chat, or we can, in the end, just unmute everybody and let you say hi to each other.